Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. It is September the 9th today. We're looking at Proverbs chapter 8, 9 and 10. 3 chapters today. Now in the first chapter, chapter 8, we have a long description of wisdom. And the way in which wisdom is described is she's described as a female. She's described as a wonderful woman. Let's read it and you'll see what I mean. He's personification of wisdom into a person. And so he describes wisdom as if wisdom were a person. Let's look at verse 1. Doth not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth on the top of high places, by the way in the places of the paths. She cries at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the doors. Unto you, O men, I call, my voice is to the sons of men. O ye simple, understand wisdom. You fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing froward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understands, and right to them that find knowledge. So this is wonderful, isn't it? What the writer of the Proverbs is doing here, and this is all written for the benefit of Solomon to learn from, what the writer is saying is there's this beautiful woman, and she's called Wisdom. She has a sister called Prudence, and together they call to the people of the city, to the men of the city they call, and they say, listen and understand and do what's right. Have knowledge. See, this is a wonderful thing. She says in verse 10, receive my instruction. Don't take silver, and have knowledge rather than choice gold. Now this is a fantastic verse. There's lots of amazing verses in this passage. She says, for wisdom is better than rubies, and all things that may be desired are not to be compared with it. So, this is an amazing thought. And this is how the Jews were brought up. This is how the people in the Old Covenant thought. Those that were righteous did. They saw wisdom as being the most important thing. As a previous proverb says, in all thy getting, get wisdom. So let's read on a little bit. She says, I dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. Now you didn't know the word witty was in the Bible, did you? It means clever. Now verse 13 is a key verse. It says, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate. Wow. We have talk about love and hate today. We even talk about hate crime today. But we don't talk about love crime. Love and hate are just the opposite ends of the same thing. And we love the Lord. And in loving the Lord, we hate evil. We hate pride. We hate arrogancy. We hate the evil path. And we hate the froward mouth. And then she goes on, she says, counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. By me kings reign and princes decree justice. By me princes rule and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. If you went to speak to a judge, any judge, and you said to them, what is the key thing? What is the key thing that enables you to do the work of a judge? Well, they'd all tell you that the most important thing is wisdom. Wisdom is the thing that enables them to cut through all of the information and to cut through all of the lies and all of the deception and to come to a sound, sensible conclusion, a judgment that is sure. And that's only made by wisdom. Now verse 17 is an interesting verse, and I'm going to say something to you now which might be interesting for you to listen to. Let's read it first of all. He says, I love them that love me. Now what we're going to remember is that this is under the old law. This is under law, not under grace. So under law he says, I love them that love me. Those that seek me early shall find me. Riches and honour are with me, yea, durable riches and wisdom. Now this isn't God speaking, this is wisdom speaking. Got it? And what wisdom says is, those that seek after me, those that seek after wisdom early will find me. And those that love me, I will love them. Now that's an amazing thought. And then it goes on, my fruit is better than gold, yea, more than fine gold, my revenue than choice silver, and so on. Let's come down to verse 22. We're going to discover something which is quite astounding. If I said to you today, what was the first thing that ever existed before the world was made? You might say, well, God. Yes, I know God existed, but there was something else that existed before the Lord made the world. And that one thing is this woman here, wisdom, and her sister Prudence. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. So before even God created anything, wisdom, you see, was there. And then the passage goes on, and right the way down, verse 30 and beyond. And really, right to the end of the passage, wisdom is exalted and extolled. Now, verse 35, this isn't God speaking, this is wisdom speaking. And she says this, she says, whoever finds me finds life, and shall obtain favour of the Lord. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. That's quite astounding, isn't it? When you start to think, this isn't God speaking. She talks about God, but she's actually wisdom speaking. And then in chapter 9 it continues. It says, wisdom has built her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars. She hath killed her beasts. You see. So the analogy continues. In verse 8, there's a very, very wise thing that's said in verse 8. It says, reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. There are people that you will meet in life who are just mockers. When you reprove a mocker, you'll discover that they will hate you. But when you reprove a wise man, you'll find that he will love you. Now that is an exceedingly wise thing to know. And then, verse 9 and 10. Verse 9 and 10 are my password for today. I'll read it to you. It says, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. When a man fears God, this is all within the context of the Old Covenant, of course, nothing to do really with being a Christian, but he that fears the Lord, especially in the Old Covenant, that's when he begins to be wise. And the one who has the knowledge of the holy is the one who is understanding. For to me thy days shall be multiplied, the years of thy life shall be increased. You see, what wisdom is saying is this: if you listen to me, you'll live long. If you listen to me, you'll have a long life. You see, the promise of wisdom is this, and the promise of the law is this, that if you are a righteous person, you'll have a long life. But if you're a wicked person, God will cut you down in your prime. That's the blessings and the curses of the law. And then he goes right the way down. He that knoweth not that the... Sorry, let me read verse 17. Stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. See, this is strong stuff, isn't it? What she is saying is this. She's saying that those that are thieves, they might find their life to be very sweet, but they're going down into the depths of the grave. That's where they're going. Now, chapter 10 is a landmark in Proverbs, because here we have, from verse 1, it says, the Proverbs of Solomon. Very often the Bible gives its own titles, and this Proverbs chapter 10, the title is the first phrase, the Proverbs of Solomon. Now, the Proverbs of Solomon are all characteristic by one thing. They come in the form of couplets. They come in the form of it's a type of poetry, but it's not quite poetry. But they come in that form. They come in double couplets, and most of the time the Proverbs of Solomon are a simple contrast between those that are righteous and those that are wicked. And really, we have a lesson here that in the Old Covenant, there wasn't the question of those that are Christians and not Christians, or the saved and the non-saved. That wasn't really the concept in the Old Covenant. The concept in the Old Covenant was between those that are wise and those that are foolish. Those that are wise are the righteous. Those that are foolish are the unrighteous. Those that are faithful to the Lord are righteous. Those that are unfaithful to the Lord, their covenant God, are wicked. Well, let's read it and you'll see what I mean. And really, the whole of chapter 10 is in this format and goes right on down through the passage. He says, a wise man maketh a glad father, but a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. And so on. And we get these couplets coming right the way down through the passage, phrase after phrase, contrasting constantly between the righteous and the wicked. This is why I would say that in the covenants, all the people outside of grace, they are known not for being saved or unsaved. They are known for being wise or foolish, for being righteous or wicked, for being faithful or unfaithful. And I won't read the whole passage. I'll let you enjoy that. We come right the way down to verse 32. It says, the lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. Okay, frowardness means impudently. It means to speak with pride and impudence. That's what froward means. So there we are. We're deep now into the Proverbs, aren't we? We are a third of the way through the Proverbs, and I hope you're enjoying this. I'm finding it very interesting. I'm finding it very challenging too, but I'm finding the Proverbs very interesting. They're not really proverbs of Christian truth. They are proverbs of understanding how covenant people live in the old covenants, and that means there's lots of covenants, but in particular it is the covenant of Moses. So I'm hoping this is interesting to you, and it's certainly a blessing to me, and look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.